Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Doing good. And
Are,
you?
I'm doing just fine. I got here in time. Are we live right now?
We should be.
Oh, okay. I didn't. Yeah,
I Are we? Does it say live?
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yep.
Okay.
It
Yeah, it
says live
does.
up on
Tracy,
top.
you
Yep.
know how long it's been since I've been on
Hey,
YouTube?
cool gamer.
Well, it's probably the last time I was with you, Brandy.
Probably because I haven't. It's been weeks. It's
It's
been
been,
weeks.
this what we're talking about tonight is a really sad situation, but I need to do this. I need to get back in the swing of things. And not that I go live a lot, but
Yeah,
yeah.
me too. And I've been trying to get so many things taken care of and different irons in the fire and trying to figure out how I'm going about with YouTube and what I want to do exactly and finding the time and the day to do everything. It's like,
Yeah.
Jesus. I don't know what the hell I was thinking.
Yep.
I don't know.
And it's going to get worse for me because my grandson's in baseball. And, but it'll be once everything calms down after my dad's celebration of life. And then the next day I have Katie's graduation. So hopefully things start calming down. And my mom, I got to take her Friday. She's got to have a cardio version. They're going to shock her back into rhythm.
Oh, wow.
Yep, because she's been out of rhythm. Her heart rate's like 120 to 130,
Oh,
and her
wow.
blood pressure's like 160 over 102. It's crazy.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, and you know what? With your dad passing, she may
Yep.
just be struggling.
Well, she's got atrial fibrillation and she's on medication for it, but it's never lasted this long. It'll be a week tomorrow. So I called her cardiologist yesterday. And, when you're in AFib, it makes you really weak and tired.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was over there yesterday helping her and she made me, I called my sisters and I'm like, I don't know if this is depression from losing dad or if she really feels this bad from the AFib. She made me worried. But anyway, the doctor said, let's shock her back into rhythm. Uh, she goes under general sedation and she'll be fine, he said. So,
Well, good.
because Saturday we have to go to the airport and pick up family members.
Oh, my
We
goodness.
got a lot of family
Well,
coming
we,
in.
we had my brother, his leg, not legs, the one leg, his right leg was amputated.
Yeah.
Um,
What's he doing with that?
and we thought he was doing good. He was really happy it was gone. He was feeling better. His color was good. I went in one day and he didn't recognize me.
Oh,
It took a couple minutes for him to, he was looking at me like, I think, who is this? And I think I know, but who is this? And finally he just kind of went along and then it dawned, then you could kind of see his eyes light up when he realized who it was.
oh man.
And
Mm.
so I made sure I called my other brother who's doing all of his care and my mom. And I said, look, he didn't, it took him a little bit to recognize me. And then he didn't know where my mom was. And mama's been in South Dakota for, let's see, she left in 2018, 2017. So it's been a few years and he didn't know where she was.
Oh
And
wow.
so I was concerned with that. Well, we got him moved into a facility. And of course, he's got government insurance. So he doesn't have the best insurance,
You
but
know
he's got
that that
something.
that is so wrong. That really is. I'm sorry, but
Well,
know,
we can't get him Social Security, we can't get him on Medicaid, we can't get anything. I take that back. We do have Social Security. I'm sorry,
is he on
disability is the one.
disability then? The
No,
social,
we haven't been able to get disability. We got Social Security, but not disability. I had that backwards.
why why can't he get disability?
I don't know. I don't know.
He
I'm
had
thinking now he should.
Okay, has
And
he
that'll
ever tried?
he's going to have to go into a facility no matter what. My other brother cannot care for him. And he told him, if you
Mm,
can't get yourself into the chair, you can't come home. Because, my sister in law has cancer in her brain. And so it went from her spine up into her brain. And so she is not doing good at all. Her sister has pancreatic cancer, so we know that's coming.
Oh man.
Brother's at his wit's end. And
Oh, Brandy.
but mom, I have not gone with Dave being gone because my knee's been bothering me again, and I'm waiting to get that MRI done. And so Dave doesn't want me doing too much out and about because I'm here by myself.
Yeah,
Things
yeah,
have to get taken care of. So
yep,
I haven't been by there, but mom said that he's not eating.
yeah. I wonder, that would be such a traumatic thing to lose a limb, and the depression that he,
Well, he was happy with it. His issue is not being able to get around and get his words out because he can't talk good.
well,
And that's where he gets frustrated.
mm, just sad. I can't believe he couldn't get this. I tell you that our government is so screwed up.
It is. It's
Other people can get disability because they have to walk by something and they have to touch it. Swear to God. There is somebody I know, he literally said he could not walk by something without touching it. He was 21, never worked a day in his life, and they gave him social or
good grief.
disability.
There are several people that I in the different groups that I'm in for the ankylosing spondylitis that I have or that they just diagnosed me with that are on disability. And because it is so debilitating, that's scary
Yeah,
to me because I don't want to be that.
yeah,
So it's like, it's
man.
really scary. But
Well, I
I have
hope
got to.
everything goes good with your brother and everything works
Well,
out.
I kind of, I'm not real hopeful. I'm just going to be
So
honest.
do they have therapy working with them?
They're supposed to be,
Because they should
but
be.
they said he's kind of shut down on everybody. So I kind of feel like he's given up. Um, I I need to go by there. I'm gonna have very limited time because we have a Ren fair going on locally for the next 3 weekends, which I have a vendor booth at. The last one I did, I made $500 in one day. I can't.
Wow.
I'm not missing that up.
No, hell
No,
no, I wouldn't
missing that
either.
up. That is not even a sentence. Missing that up. I am
Yeah.
not missing that.
Don't
Oh
blame you,
Lord.
girl. Don't blame you.
Because we have the trip to Kentucky coming up in June, and I'm got things I want to do, and I need money to spend. So I'm going to be so busy the next month,
Yeah.
so busy. Um,
Sounds like
and
it.
I've got one winery booked. Well, a winery that's got two vineyards they're taking me to. We're going on a bourbon tour. We just haven't decided which one. I'm trying
You're
to
going on
convince
a
them
what? A what?
a bourbon tour.
What's that?
It's the places where they make bourbon.
Oh, is that whiskey
And
you mean?
yes, and they show you their making process, and you taste different ones that they make. It's so much fun. Um, I have not ever done an official one. I've done like a local one with different bourbons. So going to the actual place where they make it's going to be kind of cool. I figured I would let my husband do something he kind of likes, and since I'm torturing him with wine on the very first day. And did I lose you?
Nope, I'm
Okay.
here.
It
I'm
got
just
really quiet, so I'm like, "Oh, crap." And then I wanna go to there is a ranch there that has rescue horses, the, rescue race horses, retired and rescued race horses, and they have an old Kentucky Derby winner there, and I wanna go see them. Um, it's gonna depend how my knee's holding up and how my
Mhm.
body is holding up, I should say, because it's a very long tour, and I'm not guaranteed to get a golf cart. So we'll see. But we are going to a casino one night. We have that planned too. So it's going to be fun. It's not going to be for the network now. Some things have changed there. And that's I guess being done a different time. But my trip was already paid for, and I can't get a refund. So we're going and making a vacation out of it.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you one bit. Now, when do you get to start this new medicine that the doctor, that
So,
injection or
oh my
something?
God, I fought with the insurance all day today. Um, they do not cover it.
What?
They will not cover it, and it's quit. God darn it, stupid dogs. and make sure they're messing up my cords, and my computer died today. And I thought it was charging, and they had unplugged it, so it wasn't charging. Um, let's make sure.
Yeah, don't.
Plug.
I
Hold on, there it
swear,
goes. Okay.
he doesn't want you giving anybody else any attention. So your dog's the only one I know that will
Well,
undo a charger, unplug it.
they're all up in my business is the problem. Like literally all up
Oh,
in
I
my
know
business.
it. I get a kick out
Jesus.
of them.
And it's funny till it's not. You know what I mean?
Oh,
When I have to
absolutely.
get up,
It's,
like when my bladder says, "Girl, get to the bathroom," and I'm trying to
yeah.
get out of the couch, and they won't get off my lap, and it's like they stretch their legs out, going, "No, don't move," and I can't get up. Yeah, no, that's not fun.
Oh my gosh.
But anyways, the insurance does not cover that medication. Now, they did tell me today that I could file an appeal. The doctor has 60 days to do that. And they said that the pre-authorization the doctor didn't really have enough information. He said I can kind of see why they didn't even think about it, because there just wasn't enough stuff on here. But there's a second medication that does the exact same thing. That's the exact same medication, except that the FDA has not labeled it for weight loss.
Uh-huh.
They've labeled it for diabetes, but it's the exact same medication, identical, everything, just a different name. So, and because that's what the insurance had told me, they were like, "But we do this one. You're approved for it." And I'm like, "For real?" And so that's I called when I talked to the doctor. He was like, "Yeah, we can do the same. It's the same thing. We'll do that. It's fine." So I'm hoping I pick it up tomorrow. Girl, even with it's 900 or 800 and something dollars, and my insurance copay is $100.
Wow.
I'm like, oh my God. But they do have a specialty program you can get on. So hopefully that'll be a little bit cheaper. But yeah. So we'll see. I'm trying to decide if I want to start it this week or wait till Monday, since I'm going to be all weekend out at the Ren Fair thing and vendor
Yeah.
booth and case my stomach, because it causes nauseous and nausea and all this other stuff. And it's like, I don't know what to do.
Oh, gosh. Well, yeah, maybe wait till Monday. You don't know how your body's going to react to it at all.
No. And my doctor has lowered my thyroid medicine again. He said very few people ever go this low when they need thyroid medication. He says, but your body's processing everything in the medication. And I said, well, that would make sense because everything hits me harder than most people. And he said, yeah, your body just processes it good. He says, so that's not a bad thing. He's like, I just very seldom have it happen. So, yeah. So we'll
Oh,
see.
yeah. Yeah.
We'll see.
Well,
But yeah, I plan on going live when we're in Kentucky. I think it'll be fun to do some lives over there. Hi, Kim.
hey, Kim. How are you? Oh, cooking dinner. Yeah, I didn't get no dinner cooked tonight. They're fending for themselves tonight. I barely got home to get on
I
here
had
with
some
Brandy.
macaroni.
Macaroni
Dave
cheese?
is out of town, so I don't cook when he's not here. And it was raining its ass off today,
Yeah.
so I wasn't getting out and going to the store to get me anything quick. And like the ducks are happy. I'm just gonna tell y'all, my yard looks
Oh,
like a pond, but my
your yard,
ducks,
does it ever dry up?
yes, it does when it quits raining.
I
Hi,
bet.
Michelle. You
Hey,
changed your name and threw me
Michelle.
off.
Yeah,
But
those
yeah,
ducks have a blast in your freaking
y'all, oh my
yard.
God, I wish I'd have been videoing today because they're following me around outside, because they do. They follow me around. It's really adorable.
You sent me
And I had a
video.
bird feeder out there that had old bird feed in it. So I was emptying it out because it's time to refill them all. And they're like happy. So they're like getting that up and just a quacking at me and doing their little thing. So they come walking back with me. Well, in the middle of the yard is the part that's kind of more of a dip. So it holds water more than anything else. Like when it rains, that's the first spot that gets water. And they hit that spot and literally did the duck zoomies. Zoom through that water. I was laughing and I'm like, I did not have my phone out. There should have been video. I need to walk around with a GoPro. I've got to buy GoPro, and that's just all there is to it.
You talking about like the dogs do the zoomies, the ducks do them too?
I call it zoomies because they get in the water and they do like little torpedoes, like zoom through the water.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, there goes my computer again. Why? is my computer screen shutting off.
Oh, mine is too, Brandy. I thought maybe it was something Kyle had to come and look at my computer and fix it for me because I screwed
Hi,
it up.
Teresa.
But after so many, if I don't push push a button, it goes black.
I've never had it do that to me.
Is it a new update maybe that happened?
Maybe there's an update on it.
I don't know, but I'm going to call my sister or Kyle and have him take it off because I don't like it. Hey, Teresa. Yeah, it just.
So I have been kind of start talking about it a little bit, and I have permission from Sleuth Mom to pull up her trial coverage, so we can pull up any of that we want to watch.
Yeah.
So Mercury is in retrograde. Everything will go back to normal on the 15th of the month. Good to know, Michelle.
Oh, man.
I try to avoid even knowing when Mercury's in retrograde because that's usually when life goes crazy. But life has been really calm for me here. It just really has. I'm just kind of like, yeah, whatever. Fuck it.
So,
I've spent the last, 3 weeks, I guess, watching the Letecia Stauch trial on the murder of Gannon. And, if you've been following true crime, you remember this case from the beginning of 2020.
Oh.
I don't know if everybody in the chat knows this case.
I don't know, but
Gannon was, and if I'm repeating myself too much, y'all just tell me and we'll move on. Wasn't that amazing about Letecia getting hammered? Oh my God, Teresa, it was amazing. I really just need to play Al's victim impact statement because his statement, for one, had me bawling like a baby, but then had me going, yes, get her.
Yeah.
When he called her nappy headed,
that was flipping hilarious. Was that woman to the right of him his new wife?
That's his new wife. They met at the church in grief counseling, like a grief support group thing for losing children. She lost her son, who was 13, the same year that Gannon was killed in 2020.
Whoa.
And he took his own life he was bullied and took his own life.
Oh my gosh.
Teresa, weren't you in Sleuth Moms with me? I want to say Teresa was over there with me.
I never chatted, but I listened when I could, when I was at the flea market. Sleuth Mom, I have the utmost respect for that woman. I didn't know her really until Gannon's case. Brandy, you're the one that got me onto her, and the way she covered the case, and she was she put her heart.
She's very respectful to the families.
Yes.
She's very caring.
And I made her known that.
And she doesn't do drama, even when she was talking about some drama the other day that happened with her that I was kind of wondering, and there was somebody in my chat a while back, and I'm like, hey, I haven't seen you. Like, oh, I don't go over there anymore. And I'm like, oh, yeah, well, I found out why. Somebody paid somebody $500 for her doxing information.
What?
On her and her family and her children.
Why?
And I'm like, holy shit.
Fucking people on here are plumb crazy.
Well, and I'm thinking, what has she done to anybody? The woman
because she's successful. They are jealous.
She covers missing children.
Yeah.
She doesn't do anything to hurt anybody.
You don't have to do anything, Brandy. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to say anything. People are so jealous of others that if you have any bit of success, they want to take you down. That's sad.
Mm-hmm. Well, and somebody asked her today if she was going to cover the closing arguments and the jury watch for the Vallow case, Daybell case, and she's not, because she homeschools, and so they've got some inspection stuff with homeschooling, and so and I don't know that if I have the time to play it and stay on with it because I've got a lot to do for this weekend.
I've been listening to that Eaton guy or Enton, the one from Idaho News, every night. Yeah, I listen to him every night and kind of go over it still makes me mad that the judge didn't let, the video be taken. And I mean, that's ridiculous.
Well, Lord, they'd have been. It would have driven me crazy. I would have been going in between trials to see what was going on,
Yeah.
and when I was about tired of hearing yada 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 from Miss Letecia Stauch,
Well,
then I could have.
those phone
Jesus.
recordings.
Oh my
Oh,
God. Yada
if,
yada yada whatever. Yada 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 whatever.
if I
Dude.
could have reached through my computer, I would have throat punched that bitch.
Oh, no joke. No joke.
Ugh. Yeah.
So, we've waited 3 years for Gannon's case to go to trial. And we knew she was playing the system. We knew she was going to pull something stupid.
Mm.
And she was being weird, going to court, and she wouldn't go to court, and she was giving a hard time about going to court and throwing fits and all of that. And then she pulls this DID thing out. And let me ask y'all something. And if everybody would like to do this, I'll do it. I want to do a deep dive on the damn doctor, Dorothy Lewis.
Oh, yeah. My thoughts on that woman.
Oh,
She needs to be
yeah,
locked.
Michelle, I agree. It's a gentle term. Throat punch is about all I can come up with because I don't want to get fined. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's why I said throat punch, Michelle.
It's like, oh, put
Ugh.
me in a cell with her for 5 minutes.
You
Just
know
give me
what? All
5
we have
minutes.
to do, I'm going to make Jim listen to her, and he will think he's got the best thing ever after listening to that
That's
woman.
what we do, ladies. That's what we do. When your husband is being a jerk to you, play the video of her, and he will think, oh my God, I'm never complaining about her again. That's what you
Exactly.
do. How
Exactly.
and I, you have to give it to Al to hold it together. And I know I'm screaming. Sorry, I got to talk lower because I got this microphone
You're
on my
not
face.
screaming, Brandy. You're not.
For Al to hold it together in those phone calls and not really, Raina, she literally just leaned over here and licked my straw. For real. And she's looking at me like, what? You have water over there. Can you leave mine alone? No. Hey, quit. Well, I'm not drinking that now.
Oh, heck. I give
Oh my God. She's literally having a fun time with my straw.
Oh.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry, guys. I just happened to catch a look at her in my peripheral and dawned on me what she was doing. And it's water. Jesus Christ, this dog.
Yeah, exactly, Teresa.
Throat punches, but yeah, it's the only thing I can think of. But to listen to him hold it together in those phone calls when he's already suspecting that she did something with his child, and he's trying to play this game with her. You know what I mean?
I tell you, he's a good man. That man, he done good.
Well, and I feel for him.
Oh, I
He's got some guilt there with the fact that he trusted her.
Yep.
He brought her into the home. He knew the crazy was going on because, like they've said, she was the reason why him and Landon were fighting a lot.
Mhm.
The
She's
suspicion
playing them
thing that
against each other.
right, the suspicion thing that she did, the dramatics. And he overlooked all of that because, I mean, like he said in his closing argument, I loved you. You were a beautiful, vibrant woman, and I loved you. And I don't know what happened to that woman. And that as a parent is something that would be very, very hard to cope with.
Yeah. You know who I feel sorry for the most?
Haley.
It is Harley. Yes.
Harley. Yeah, Harley, not Haley. Harley.
Yep. I'm telling you what, that poor girl.
I don't know why I have called her Haley all day long, and I do not know why. It's Harley, and I know that. But we were talking in Sleuth Mom's chat. There were some of us talking about, because Sleuth Mom has a very difficult mom too, and so do I. And so I can understand. I had a stepmother the same way. I could understand Harley not questioning, even if it felt weird, and believing everything her mom said and all of that. And even in her own behavior now, I can understand that because I had a mother that was abusive, verbally, emotionally, all of those things. They're just, I tell people all the time, I'd much rather get the crap beat out of me than the emotional and mental abuse.
Well, it's worse on you.
The bruises go away.
Yeah.
That other shit don't go away.
It just,
Hi, Steph. Poor Steph.
She has taken all this that she's had to deal with her whole life and turned it around. She's found, God. She is just an amazing young woman. Uh,
Right.
yeah, I mean, just amazing.
Well,
And
and their families turned from her. All of
yeah,
the
they did.
family.
And that they're just
And
as crazy as
they're
Letecia,
mad that
honestly.
she went up there to she when she went up to be questioned by the DA, they were mad. Um and I
They
guess
took
they
her
wanted her to
car.
refuse. Well, why? So right, well they did that in the beginning, but they had already come back after Letecia was arrested. They asked her to come back and talk to them, and she did. And she was terrified that she could get arrested for accessory after the fact.
Mm. Oh, I hope so, Teresa, because Al loved her
Yeah.
and she loved Al.
Well, and he got up after her testimony. He got up and hugged her,
Yes.
and he said in his statement, "I've lost my daughter through
Yep.
this." And oh, and I have this. Hold on, I got to show you all this since we're talking about Harley. This was on
TikTok.
her Instagram.
Oh, Instagram. I follow her. I don't have Instagram, so I think I do. I just don't ever get on it. I don't know how, but
So, trigger warning. Grab some Kleenex. She put
oh
this on
my
Instagram
goodness.
today.
Oh wow.
Her and G Man.
Oh boy.
I love you, my angel. I mean, God.
Wow.
Not that I can my stupid pop-ups. I need that to remove. Thank you. Yeah. She truly loved her little brother.
Oh, she did.
And so, it just I don't know. So many people are shattered and a community is shattered. That whole little community there, this woman did damage. She just did some serious damage. All because, and I wasn't it the judge, guys? I want to say it was the judge that said, and it may have been the attorneys, but I think
That,
it was the judge.
that judge was good. I liked him.
I loved Werner. Oh
Yep.
my God, he's an amazing judge.
Yes. Yeah.
And he said, he believed that teenager, that preteen of Gannon coming up, and he probably was upset and said, "You're not my mom, and I want my mom, and
Yep.
you lost your cool." And I could see that happening. I could see that happening. It's hard. We focus on that whole candle situation and what happened with the candle and the burns,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't know. To me, it sounds very odd that she was just jumping on the blanket and he was in the blanket, and that's what she was using to put the fire out. That was weird, and it wasn't that big of a burn area.
No. What do you think? I mean, I know we could, because she's never going to tell exactly what happened, what she did to him. I mean, we know that she stabbed him and she shot him and hit him. Do you think she'll ever? Okay, let me ask you, Brandy. What do you think happened that night, that day?
I think there was something happened with that candle and she burned him. And we were talking about in Sleuth Moms, wondering if she, or was it Sleuth Moms? I think it was Sleuth Moms. Um, Wondering if maybe on the hike the day before, was she planning on pushing him off the cliff and saying he fell, and backed out because there were too many people?
Yeah.
Or, did she, I think, in my honest opinion, I think because he had the hydrocodone in his system,
Mm-hmm.
I think she burned him. Something happened with all of that, and she gave him the hydrocodone, and she'd already, done the text about asking about bath salts and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So she thought it would be, she could explain it away with the hydrocodone. He took the pills. And when that did not kill him, she had to devise a plan
So
and figure out what to do.
When he was walking out to the truck slowly, you could tell something was wrong with him. You know, he was holding his stomach and walking really
Right.
slow.
Right. We've said all along, all the last 3 years, all
Yes.
of us have said something
Yes.
was up with that. That was he wasn't walking normal. What had happened? What did she do?
So where did she kill him then?
In the bed, in his bedroom.
Okay, so how did she get him out? The back door?
She put him in a suitcase that was she took him down to
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
the storage room, put him in a suitcase, and then put that suitcase in her car,
And the brother
left her
tried,
car. She
yeah.
left the car at the airport,
Mm,
and then moved the body. What we think is she put the suitcase out on the side of the road somewhere, far enough where people couldn't see it. But that was why it slowed things down, because it was cold, and
yeah.
probably why they didn't smell anything, because he was partially frozen.
Mhm. Gosh. Yeah,
And
'cause her brother even said he knew something was wrong when no suitcases that heavy. That's
right,
terrible.
he thought it was weird, but
Yeah.
nobody was thinking she put that baby in a
Oh,
suitcase.
exactly.
And so um I think she was trying to plan it, and none of it was going.
There's Sleuth Mom.
Hi, Sleuth Mom. Thank you, Sleuth Mom. We were just talking about you and how wonderful you are.
You done this case, and Brandy told me about you. Awesome job. I have a lot of respect for you, lady. You covered this case. You done great.
Yeah, we don't know what we're doing now with no
Yeah.
trial.
Yeah, we want to, it's just crazy. I listened to you, tried to listen throughout the day when I was at the flea market. And so Brandy's filling me in and everybody else in if they didn't get to hear it all. I was just glad she got convicted.
I was scared, guys. I was
Well,
worried. I'm not gonna
you
lie.
know what I said, Brandy. I was
Even
scared it was
and
going to be
and
another
Sleuth Mom was like, she was
Casey.
just calm as cool as cucumber over there. She knew they were coming back, and I'm just thinking, God, please don't let everybody be too confident right now.
I was scared that we were going to have another Casey Anthony case. I thought they would. I did not know. I just had a bad feeling, but
I
whew,
didn't think it would be a Casey Anthony, because I think they had enough. And if I mean, because she did not reason by insanity, not guilty by reason of insanity.
mhm.
Even no matter what, she was going away, unless they would have come back with not guilty, but that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
Um, there was too much evidence. With Casey Anthony, there really just wasn't a lot of evidence, and no way they were all agreeing that quick.
Oh my goodness.
I
Crazy word.
y'all Sleuth, I was just telling them a while ago, I would like to do a deep dive on Dorothy Lewis and talk about all of the stuff that she says with people. Y'all, she thinks that
Some
Ted Bundy had DID.
Yeah, that woman's crazy all on her own.
Like, she seriously thinks that serial killers all have DID. Every one of them have DID. Because
I
there is
mean,
no way somebody can kill that many people and not have multiple personalities.
I oh gosh. I couldn't listen to that woman talk for very long. I couldn't.
Oh, it was driving me crazy. It was a close running between her and Leticia's yada 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 on who was driving me the most crazy.
Well, they're two peas in a pod. I'm telling you.
Oh, and the videos. I would have loved to watch all 14 hours of those videos. I'm just saying, just because I would want to see exactly what was going on. But it was very telling that the defense wasn't going to play any of those videos when they called her.
Yeah. I agree,
They
bitch.
yeah, they did. She was a, and the defense attorney did in his interview with the press. He just felt that there was a psychosis situation, and he did the best that he could with the trial. And I get that, and and I do feel for them, because they don't get to pick these cases.
Yeah.
The only one that I don't feel for right now, we'll see in time if he ever comes out and says anything, is the one, I don't remember what his name is. He was the one that was sitting in the chair rocking, had the glasses on, and he was always very, very close to Letecia. Like, there was a few times it looked a little inappropriate.
Wow.
Well, I've had trauma in my younger days, and I don't have a Maria in my life, so no, not everyone has it. I agree. That's where I was at with it, Teresa. I was like, wait a minute. No, I mean we can talk trauma, and my trauma is pretty extensive, and I've shared my story, and I've got some stuff that makes Leticia's stories of her trauma seem pale, and I'm
Exactly.
thinking. I don't have DID. Do I have an attitude issue? Oh, yeah. Do I have depression? Yeah. Do I have mental illness? Yeah. But I don't have DID.
Well, then I guess we all have DID because, one day I'm in a good mood and the next day somebody looks at me wrong and I'm automatically pissed off. I mean,
Well, and that's what I took with this doctor. That I mean, really, that's how I felt she was trying to explain it. And I'm like,
yeah,
no, no, that's not DID.
no.
And I love how they tried to say that, her voice changed and that was a Maria. Well, I'm sorry, it was still Letecia talking. It was
Yeah.
not a weird voice.
Now,
DID doesn't work the way that she was trying to do it. It was just
my
crazy.
my cousin's daughter, she does have it and she has like 27, 28 different personalities and she's probably 29, 30 by now, but I didn't even know what DID was until we went out to North Dakota. And she went from a little baby to a 3-year-old toddler to a 84 very, very pristine uh, German lady and even talked German. And she's got it so bad that she is not allowed to live by herself because when she turned into the toddler one time, she actually crawled up on the stove. The stove was on and burnt her hands and her knees.
Oh my God. Hey,
And
Cotton Candy.
hey, Cotton Candy, yeah, that was crazy. And I was like, what the hell? And my
And
mom told me about it. And I wanted to learn more about it and finding out she has all these different personalities. But yeah, she's not allowed to be by herself at all.
and Teresa, no, I do not have a Maria because I'm gonna own my crazy. If I'm gonna be a crazy bitch, I'm gonna own it.
Let's all own
Because
it.
I want all the credit. I'm just saying. That's the Sagittarius in me. We want all of the credit. um, but
Oh,
and if Maria was Mexican or Russian, all I gotta say is Letecia needs to practice up on her accents. What's funny is she was a Mexican that was trained in Russia to be a killer, so she knew Russian. I'm like,
what
what?
the hell?
What? Who? What? Just Letecia needs to write books. She just
Well,
needs to write books. I'm just write books. Just
somebody had a picture of her. It's what is it? The Adams family with her hair was down.
yes.
Was she, what the hell? I was like,
She
oh,
reminded me of the what is the scary movie where the girl comes out of the well, The Ring? Is it The Ring?
never seen it.
Oh my god, this she comes out of the well and she comes out of the TV and her hair's like that. It's the creepiest shit ever.
I still can't believe she was flipping people off in the
Oh
courtroom.
yeah. Oh yeah. Where did it go? Here it is. Oops, that's not it. Hold on.
Yeah,
It
bitch.
jumped
It
on me
was
as I went to click on it.
the audio. Yeah.
Like seriously. Like
Ugh,
those especially the recording the interview that Dr. Lewis did. You couldn't hear that crap for nothing. Because I missed some of it. There was some of it somebody saw. I was like, I didn't hear that. And so I don't know why. I guess it was because I couldn't hear it and I gave up and was just reading the chat.
yeah. Yeah.
Yes, bitch says it's The Ring. Yes, it was creepy.
See, I've never
So
watched
creepy.
it. Ugh.
So creepy. And it was her way of, and that's why, the jury even said, they asked, are we supposed to pay attention to how she's acting in court and weigh that in on, what we're deciding? And so is she crazy? Absolutely, guys. She is crazy. Because who does this kind of stuff and not be psychotic and crazy?
Yeah.
But she didn't fit the legal term for insanity. And I think that's what people don't understand. There's a difference in the two. There just is.
Yeah. Well,
And
she's definitely.
people with those personalities, when they do something that's bad, they ask for help afterwards.
Yeah.
They're shocked they did it. They
Yeah.
don't hide it and move it around through what 5 states and all of that.
Now, I
Just
didn't, speaking of the moving the suitcase around, I never got to hear this part, Brandy, but how did she get the suitcase out of the car? How did she get the suitcase out and throw it on the road, on the side of the road?
she went to pick up her car. Hold on, dogs need to go up potty. She went to pick up her car. Harley took her to get her car at the airport, and that was where the body was at. And so she had time by herself. And then when they were getting the moving vans and all of that, she had to go get dog food supposedly, and was gone a few hours. And that was when she got the suitcase again. And then, of course, they were moving it into the moving van. And that was when the brother asked if he could help.
Wow. Yeah, because people thought I literally thought Harley was in the car too. And maybe she stopped and said she had to look at a tire or something and pretended like she was getting in the trunk and getting see if she had a spare tire and threw it out. I didn't know. I never did hear how that went down. Poor Harley, man.
Yeah. Am I still here?
Yeah, you're still here.
I hit a button on this new microphone, and I didn't know if I hit the wrong button when I fixed it back.
Nope, you're still here. You're going strong, sounding good.
Ugh. It is so hard to sit back down with everybody in my seat.
Oh, me too, Sleuth Mom. Yeah, Harley.
Me too. I'm going to tell you what, that judge, I'm going to write him a letter. Awesome. He was so good. Probably the best I've seen in any trial.
Yes.
I mean, I loved, I can't think of what her name is right now, the judge that was over Daryl Brooks. I loved her. The patience of a saint. I don't know how many times that man objected in subject matter jurisdiction bullshit, and she kept her cool through the whole thing. And I don't know if I could have done that. I think Daryl Brooks he might top Letecia on the crazy train.
Really?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I just know that judge, he was very, very professional and heartfelt. And I would have kicked her ass out of there when she started flipping people off.
Well, and he was even very understanding with her too.
Yes.
And, I understand that this is hard and you're having to sit there and I get it. And so he was just so compassionate. But I'm going to tell you what, when he started tearing up during Al's closing statement,
I think the whole world was tearing up except for
Letecia. It was hard. I was like, judges hold it together pretty dang good. And then he was like, I need 10 minutes. I need 10 minutes to get myself together. And he let her have it.
Yep. Oh, he was perfect.
I think Sleuth Mom, technically we were kind of hoping that they would zap her, but that didn't happen. I like a shot collar with the dog. Zip. Yeah, she was restrained on the last day, though, wasn't she, Sleuth? Wasn't she? It looked like she was restrained.
And is it normal for them to do sentencing immediately after?
Some of them, yeah. Yeah. If they don't really have to weigh too many options, like if they have a chance of 5 years to 70 years, that kind of thing, and sometimes to do closing statement, the impact statements and all of that.
Yeah. And what was she didn't want to make a statement to the family or the court, but she wanted to be placed somewhere. Where was that?
Yes. I can go pull it up over on Sleuth Mom. She shared it. It's basically a minimum security prison that it like cushion place, y'all, like therapy and all of this stuff to reintegrate people into society. She's never getting back into society. So why does she need that? Yeah, San Carlos.
Yeah, that was her request. Really? Do you want a steak and baked potato before you go too?
I had
Jeez.
control of that button on her zapper thingy. She had like every time she put her head down like a zapper, I would have given it to Landon and let Landon control it.
So did she have a zapper on?
I think she had one. They
Oh,
did threaten to handcuff her when she kept flipping everybody
yeah.
off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Sue said, especially with the family out of town like that, they do try to get it all done then.
Yeah.
Um, and I
Well,
think
that's
they were
good.
all prepared. I'm pretty sure that judge was prepared for what he needed to do. I know, like in the Parkland shooter trial, of course, his was he pled guilty, so it was just a matter of are they going to give him life or are they going to give him death? And so once they came back with it, they spent one more day and let the families do all of their testimonies. And or was that a different day? Hell, I may be getting them confused now. But just, she did it pretty much immediately. I mean, of course, it was a done deal.
Yeah. I think
Bye,
that's good
Sleuth
because
Mom. If y'all are still on it, Locumized, I'll stop over there in a little bit.
what's that?
She's gonna be live over with Locumized Life and here in a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Locumi is one of Robbie's friends. That's how I met Locumi. She is so sweet.
Well, again, thank you, Sleuth Mom, for everything that you did. You got another sub because I subbed immediately.
I have been spending all of my time over there lately.
And I love it how she has her family there and she's so good with her own kids and keeping up with the trial. I couldn't do it. There ain't no way.
I'd be screaming at my kids, "Would you shut up?"
I would be like, I mean,
I'm sorry, I wouldn't do that, but
she
maybe.
can, yeah, she must be one of these people that can do a lot of things at once because I can barely get on my channel and talk and even look at the chat. It's terrible because
Well,
I
I
get
think that's
so
one thing I think
focused.
I'm going to start doing since I'm going to have this stuff on the network. I want to coincide because I want to have a discussion with what I'm talking about over there too. So I
Hmm.
may do, because I'll have my recording for that, which will be, basically the summary of the story. And then over here, do the summary of the story and then discuss it. I
Yeah,
think is what I want to do. That way I can be active on both without killing myself with content.
yeah.
I was pissed they
Well, I think the more we go live, or at least
was
me,
pissed
the
they
more.
let her put her head down and plug her ears. Screw that. You did
Oh,
this. And
gross. Yeah,
yeah, that I think she shouldn't have been able to do that. Like with Nicholas Cruz, they quit letting him color. He was coloring the first few days of the trial and the
yeah,
family threw a fit, so they stopped him from coloring. But
yeah. That was,
hell, his attorney flipped the camera off in that trial.
yeah,
And they were ridiculed for that one. They got even the board, whatever it is for the lawyers, fined them.
well, the first couple days, wasn't she sitting off to the side and she could
Yes.
turn her? That was
Once
bullshit.
once they called her out for flipping everybody off, the attorneys put her in between them.
Yeah.
That way everybody could kind of keep their eye on her.
Yep. Ugh.
I absolutely loved her being called nappy headed. I'm not even gonna
Oh
lie.
my gosh, that was the. I mean, his whole impact statement was great, but oh my gosh, I was like, yeah, you nappy headed thing. I was very emotional at this time when he was reading that because
Well, in
oh,
one
he
of
was
one of Sleuth
crying.
Mom's mods kept saying, if y'all need a break, take a break. This is where we're at now. This is the
Mm,
time stamp, because it was rough. And I couldn't let myself not be there, and I felt like I have followed this case since day one, and I have been one that's talked about it publicly. And
mhm.
if I'm going to use the family story to talk, like we do here, then I owed them all of my attention and to sit through it raw and emotional like they were. And so that was my conviction. So that's what I did. It was rough.
Yeah.
Now when I got off, I sat here and cried. And it was like the next day. I was over in Sleeps. We were talking about the interviews the parents have done that Landon and Al have done, and I'm like, y'all, I feel like I have a hangover. It's like a trial hangover from just all of that, and just all of a sudden, just like, bleh.
Yeah, it gets to you. It does. It gets to you. That's for sure. I just keep seeing his face. And
Well, and I was thinking about the other day. I was looking at some pictures of Gannon, and I'm like, oh my god, he looks like my grandson, which is kind of creepy because Jason's 11, and they resemble each other.
yeah, he was such a cute little boy.
And my middle daughter's birthday is the same as Gannon's. I
Wow.
mean, not year, but day. So I was like, I did not, and I know I've heard his birthday, but it never really registered until the other day. And I'm like, oh my God.
I just can't imagine how scared that little boy was, wondering what the hell is going on.
Yeah. Bitch, this one, that got me too, because my friend had a preemie who Kelsey weighed, I think, right around the same. Literally, we could have put Barbie doll clothes on her. She was so tiny. And her head was, at the tip of your fingers and to your wrist. I mean, she was
Oh, wow.
11 inches. She was so tiny. And to think, Al said we had him in Ziploc bags to regulate his temperature when he was born.
Gosh.
And that's tiny.
Mm-hmm.
So tiny. And I love what Landon said. He came into this world fighting, and I know he went out fighting.
Yeah.
And in all of that, Landon said in her interview, man, it got me. She was like, all she was doing to him, and I know my baby loved her. Even when he took his last breath, he loved her. And that is sad.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, because
That is sad. And for her to not shed a tear about it.
I don't know how
That's
that she's a
that
sociopath.
that's what I don't understand. There were no tears, there were no
None.
emotions, and I don't know if she was drugged for the trial so that she wouldn't be reacting,
Huh.
but
Ugh.
I don't know.
Are you going to play that impact statement, Brandy?
I can if y'all want to listen to it.
I mean that's I would like to again. I mean maybe I don't know. It's whatever the chat wants to. I can watch it anytime again, but yeah, that
I have her permission. I had asked if I could play any of her stuff.
I just want to hear the part again about nappy head
Nappy head.
murderess.
Y'all, I can't. I laughed so hard on that. She will forever be known as nappy headed.
Because she just thought she was the best looking woman in the world. I mean,
She was beautiful, and I agree with him. She was beautiful when they
she
first got together.
well, yeah, she was. I mean, yeah, she was pretty, but I wonder. I'm talking about how she felt when he said that. Nappy hair. That probably pissed her off. I can imagine she was wanting to get up and do something to him because she just thought she was it. I don't know.
Okay. Let me look. What did everybody say? All right, so I'm going to have to see if y'all can hear. I don't know. Do I need to take my headphones off for y'all to hear this?
I don't know. Betch, do you know? She got a new headset with a microphone, right, Brandy?
Yeah, it's got the microphone on it.
Yeah. I don't know how that works. I can't even get my microphone to work. Mine's just a regular microphone. I've got a fancy camera. I don't even know how to get word. I don't even know how to use that. Are you already doing it, Brandy?
No, I'm pulling it up.
Yeah, she hasn't in the bed. She says we can't hear. She's still
I'm not
trying
there yet.
pull it up. Yeah, she rolled her eyes a lot. She smirked a lot too. Ugh. I couldn't imagine being that miserable in my life, and that evil. But there's a lot of evil in this world anymore.
No, I couldn't see her good enough to, and I really wouldn't let myself watch her because she made me too angry, and I just kind of wanted to.
Yeah, I pulled her up close to watch her reactions.
Okay. Let's do this. How does that look?
Looks good.
Okay. Let's see. Let's do this where we can see it all. How's that? Okay. So let me hit play and see if y'all can hear.
The people who listened doesn't know her style or her sly jabs. She's even made
Okay, can y'all hear Landon talking?
Yep.
Okay.
Albert and I. They do not know the significance of certain things she says or does. But we do. Instead of allowing her to take that power of hurting me further, I wanted to tell you this. Let me tell you what Gannon has done. Even to this day, even after you murdered him and she tried to taint any positive image of him, he has caused families and communities to come together. Children and adults have given their life to Christ. He has called unity in times of trial. He is a hero. She even tried to steal that away. Hey, Kate, huh? The one image of Gannon that was created for the world. After it went national, TV begging for the return of my son, my hero. How dare her? How true is it and cruel is she? She stole so much from this world. Gannon's cousins, aunts, uncles, sisters, new siblings, grandparents, and friends are missing a huge portion of their lives without Gannon. Lena is missing her brother. Your Honor, I've never seen a bond between two siblings so close as theirs. She had to take that. Why? I'm afraid we may never know that answer, will we? I show his baby sister Nova pictures and videos of Gannon so she will always remember who he is, because she stole him from us. He is not forgotten and never will be. And it's so sad to sit here today and face her, a person even Gannon loved, one that I know while she was attacking and killing him and fought for his life, he defended himself against her, still loving her. A love she never deserved from him for what she has done. While she is too much of a coward to even come forward with the truth, she owes it to Gannon. But the lack of remorse and the lack of respect to Gannon through this child, her lack of compassion shows me that she and we were all wrong. She manipulated all of us and never loved Gannon, Lena, or Harley. I've sat here for over a month having to listen to her sick lies, even as she tried to destroy who I was and Albert as a father. I've had to sit and listen and watch every reenactment of images no one wants left in their mind. You wanted to leave us with that, knowing it would torture us. But you underestimated me. I am Landon, Gannon's mom, and that will never change. Through my hurt, anger, and pain, I will never be the monster that she is. I can never be filled with the hate that her heart holds. I pray that we will never have to look at her face again. I will continue to hold on to my faith. Vengeance is not mine, as I surely wish it could be at times, but it's the Lord's. I have to trust in that. Thank you, Judge Warner, for your compassion, your patience through this trial. I want to thank the juror for their attentiveness and time that they took for justice for my boy, to the detectives, officers, legal team for every single second they've poured out into Gannon's case, and to the community for your countless hours. Tisha, that was her biggest mistake. You underestimated this community and this defensive team, Lawson Ranch. They searched for and fought for Gannon within hours, and they never believed your lies from the moment they started. None of these people ever gave up on him. You never looked. All of these people I will forever hold close to my heart. Always Gannon strong. My G-men forever. Justice has been served today. Your Honor, I pray that you just give her the best sentencing, the longest sentencing that you can. This will not bring my son back, but I can sleep soundly for the first time in 3 years, knowing that you can never harm This defendant can never harm anyone again, knowing Gannon will always be a true hero in a cape. He will always be my son. That will never be taken away.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Allen?
I'm going to take a minute. I love Landon. I love her. She has operated in so much strength. So much strength.
Yeah, she.
All right, well, let's go on to this one because this one's going to be rough too.
Once I was 7 years old.
Real quick, this is Gannon and Landon, I believe.
Mama told me, go make yourself some friends or you'll be lonely. Once I was 7 years old. It was a big, big world, but we thought we were bigger. Pushing each other to the limits, we were learning quicker.
Al Stauch, Gannon's father, capital Father.
Real quick, I love that he spelled father before his name. Love that.
Last name Stauch. Stauch. I'm going to start with something from my wife, not to go out of order, but this is my wife, Melissa, and these are her words. Some may say or think that I wouldn't be here if it weren't for Tisha. In part, that may be accurate, and I would be okay with that, because then Gannon would still be here. I, too, know the pain of losing a child. There is no greater pain. We are now lifelong grief partners, as this is a lifelong journey of pain with 2 sons waiting for us in heaven.
Oh. First, I want to say I love the fact that he introduces his wife and he reads her story first, because you know that is getting to that mean bitch sitting at that table more than anything. And now I'm going to go back to crying after I hit play.
I have some words from my daughter, Elena. I will address in the middle of my speech, but they're written in yellow, so I'll leave it to a child. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever God may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody, but unbowed. Beyond this place of the wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishment the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. The poem I read is named Invictus, translated from the Latin means unconquerable. I quoted this same poem at Gannon's memorial here in Colorado Springs back in August of 2020. Why August of 2020? When his body was ripped to shreds on January 27th? Well, as we heard testimony to, his body was found 1,370 miles away. And then the process to identify his maggot-infested remains withheld him from us until July 2020. As I stated in my testimony on the stand, Gannon was born severely premature and barely filled my 2 hands the first time I held him. At the end of his life, after his body was cremated into a pile of ashes, he was ultimately no bigger than the first time I held him. As brutal as the wait became, I'm thankful to God and the bridge workers for finding him and returning his precious body to Landon and I. I quote the poem Invictus again, not to boast of my strength and perseverance, Your Honor, but to say to the world, I alone can control my actions and reactions. Your Honor, I refuse to allow anger to poison my soul and orient my life to a pursuit of vengeance. I refuse to allow pain to carry me through each day and promote the pursuit of medicinal retribution toward the offender. I refuse also to let my mind be clouded by inconsistency and emotions that deter me from the purpose in this life. Your Honor, the price I pay each and every day for this resolve is to only get pieces and parts of my son. And consistently through time. But the pain is too heavy and the anger too overwhelming and the desire for vengeance too vexing. Instead, each and every day I pursue peace. I seek joy in my life and let the love I have for my wife and family flow in and out of me like a mighty wave. As I told Tisha regularly at the end of our relationship, my joy is mine alone, and she cannot rob me of that. I will learn to experience G more and more as time goes on, but as I did my best to instill into his precious soul, love, joy, service, and kindness are the pathway to take in life. This picture shows that in the 4th grade, he already had a mind for service. Throughout these past 3 years since Gannon was beaten and drugged, carved up, shot at point-blank range and discarded like yesterday's garbage, I've encountered many people that would figuratively do the same to me. I've been questioned, compared as Tisha did to my abusive father, and ridiculed for my approach to finding Gannon. I hope now that the world has seen that I was assigned the most arduous task of finding Gannon in the only place that was possible for him to have been in the mind of a killer. Were my efforts fruitful? I believe so. But from the moment I did not see the Volkswagen Tiguan, or however you say it, at French Elementary on that Tuesday evening, a clear direction for finding Gannon pointed directly and precisely at Tisha. While others online, some who are even in the courtroom today, questioned my perceived lack of effort or concern, I stood still and stood firm in knowing that only one person had the information needed to find Gannon. Now I say, woe to the person who questions a father's resolve when the safety and well-being of his children are at stake. I did not waver. I did not falter in the pursuit, nor did I allow the mentality of the mob to shake me. But it was only by the grace of God that Gannon's precious body was finally found. In Mark 4:39 of the Bible, in the middle of a storm, Christ arose and rebuked the wind and said, "Peace, be still." In times of trial in my life, from seeing my father being taken away in handcuffs, seeing that sweet 1 pound, 6 ounce baby boy for my firstborn son being put into a Ziploc bag after he was born to help regulate his body temperature, and now searching for and never finding my son again, I have but one choice, and that is the times of trial and tribulation to have that peace and be still. As I alluded to previously, that stillness does provide an easy target for many who do not understand peace, hope, and even faith. Some, including Tisha, feasted on my stillness, attacked, and yes, left several scars. One of these scars comes in the form of the financial and residential ruin that began in the early days of this ordeal. I'm just going to skip this part because I don't want to make this any more about me. I'm not seeking any restitution, Your Honor. For the $1.50 a month I received from the defendant, Tisha, would just keep me connected to her for the rest of my life, and I don't want that. So absolutely no restitution, Your Honor. The murderer of which I speak was not always such. When I met Tisha, she was beautiful, extremely intelligent, as many have testified to, and a seemingly successful woman. A far cry from the nappy-headed, murderous, narcissistic, and arrogantly flippant human being that sits in our midst today. Having a background in teaching, social work, higher education, certified babysitting, and endless amount of credentials, that should render one trustworthy when it relates to the safety of children. However, although she remains too much a coward to state the facts of what she did to Gannon, too much a lily-livered, self-centered, pathological liar to ask for forgiveness, and too much the facade of one who actually cares for others to have taken her frustration out on an adult or one who could defend themselves. She will one day give an account through her words or through her time. Sending pictures of Gannon sleeping to Landon and I was telling, as the boy looked pale and absent of the energies that so defined him. This is what a happy, healthy little boy looks like when he's sleeping in the next picture.
So that picture right there, he was dead
That's what
when
a
they
little boy
showed
sleeping
that
looks like.
picture.
No,
Was he already dead or what?
no, because it was that morning. Can you hear
Okay.
me?
Yeah.
I'm making sure
These
Molly didn't hit
pictures
the
on
button.
the screen are of a happy,
I
healthy
hit the
little
button
boy
again.
that's sleeping
Oh.
sweetly,
Hold on.
healthily.
Okay, I hit the wrong
Sorry.
thing.
I didn't want to
Um,
interrupt, but I
No, it's
wanted-
fine.
Okay.
No, that morning, that was the morning of that, what was it, a Monday, I believe. It was Monday. That's why we say we feel like she had been giving him the hydrocodone,
Okay.
because he was so pale and he had the burns, so there was the pain of that. She had already done something, but he was still alive, because that was before they were in the truck going to Petco.
Yeah.
And on the comment about the name, I do not think that they can do that. I don't think the court can force her to change the name, sadly.
I would ask though, just to piss her off more.
Yeah, sadly, I don't think they can force that. I wish they could, but
Yeah. I got one more question. What
What's that?
happened to Al's dad?
he was what was it, sex offender, I believe.
Oh,
He
okay.
abused them.
Oh, man. Wow.
I want to say, was it a 14-year-old? I don't remember the whole story, so I don't want to get the wrong
Yeah,
information.
Well,
But there was something, like, I think he went away for it or he died. I don't remember, but she actually talks about it in one of the interviews before she left Colorado.
okay.
Okay, let's go back to listening to this man. He's got some amazing words.
Where he lay. The impact Tisha had as a result of this heinous crime stretches far wider and far deeper than I could depict in my statement today. 2 other people torn to pieces as a result of this are Gannon's sister Lena and Harley. Speaking of Harley, I feel as though I've lost 2 children as a result of this tragedy, one of which I will never see on this earth again, and the other which I do not know if a relationship can be salvaged with. Now for Lena. The video you saw as submitted in evidence, her bebopping down the street, is actually an excellent depiction of Lena and her happiness and her joy in life. She is very loving, trusting, and at times way too social. Normally, you might be concerned by your little girl talking to the utility guy working in the front yard, but in this case, it was the inside of her own home that was of grave concern. Nonetheless, her loss, Lena's loss, is like none I can even imagine. She lost her big brother, her only brother at the time. I still do not know if she has fully processed or fully understands the gravity of the situation, but regardless has pressed forward and is thriving as best as she can. I am so proud of her. And these are her words. Once again, they're in yellow, so I'll do the best I can. And this is what I asked her if she wanted to say anything to Tisha, and this is what she said in her sweetest mind that she has. That you do not do that to people, especially your stepkids. And that it is never all right to do these things. How sweeter of a response can you get? Now for my precious, premature firstborn son. Get it? I never in my wildest dreams would have ever thought you'd be in danger, buddy, or I know I wouldn't have not left you. At home with what turned out to be your murderer and the last person to ever see you on this earth. I'm so sorry. Through a father's eyes, children are truly a gift from God, and among the best and most perfect creations God can make. Your Honor, I do need to clear one thing up with the defense. It was said both in the opening statement and in the closing Somehow Gannon has been compared to a demon. And I understand the process. I do. But if they want to take the case up of Gannon being a demon, I will line people up from Alaska to Denver to Colorado Springs, all the way to South Carolina to testify against them. Gannon was nobody's demon. I don't care how much anyone was abused or anything. He was not anyone's demon. Oh, okay. Gannon was truly my buddy. Very recently, before he died, the most alarming thing he did was call me dad. Up until age 10 or 11, I was daddy. But in the last months of his life, I was just dad. A signal that he was coming into those junior high, pre-teenage years. Another amazing thing that is he finally started asking me regularly to play ball with him. He was never too much into sports for most of his life, but that last 6 to 9 months, he really started enjoying playing ball. Some of the most memorable times.
I want to pause real quick because I saw Teresa's question. Yes, he came back with her when they took the truck. They took the truck and they go to Petco. They did 2 different Petcos. And then they come back and she backs in and you can see him get out. He's still really sluggish, but he did come back. That was where she gives the stories. The story kept changing. Good God. There was Eduardo who come into the house to fix the carpet who attacked her, and Gannon attacked him, and then he attacked Gannon and put Gannon in a suitcase, and she didn't know where they were. And then there was this guy that they met when they were out to go into Petco and to get a bike. They were going to buy a bike for Al or Gannon, or I don't know. And Gannon was test driving the bike and test riding the bike, whatever you'd call it. And he fell, hit his head, and the guy grabbed him up and took him to the to go get him help. And she didn't know where they went. And then, of course, there was the infamous Quincy Jones, who is a top 10 most wanted fugitive or whatever, sex offender in the area, something like that. And all of those stories have variations of those stories, but that is timeline is what she was using as to what happened was in that amount of time. So when they get back from the stores is when she kills him. I think they said within 30 minutes of them getting back. Yes, when they come back is when she killed him. Okay, so let's go back here.
Times were him running little 5-yard football routes in the street in front of our house. Most of the time he dropped the ball, but he kept asking, let's do it again. I almost had it that time, Daddy. Oh, and that Nintendo Switch. One of the most difficult pieces of evidence to give up was his Nintendo, because that probably has the most of him on it. Knowing I may never see that again is truly devastating. For him, many of his games were not just games, but a challenge to overcome, as I made him beat specific games before I would buy him the next one. I remember not long before he died, him beating the old school Zelda game he had. As he felt he was getting close to beating the final monster, he paused it, ran upstairs, and we sat at the kitchen island, and he beat it right there together with me. He was as excited as I ever saw him. With all of that and all of the pain of only being able to see him play through the one YouTube video he was able to make, which I'm about to play, I can sleep in peace at night because the father I am and the son he is was culminated as always in our final embrace as he ran out of arms and downstairs to watch Pokemon, I in his heart and he in mine. If we could try to play that video, just maybe the first 10 or 15 seconds of it.
Hey guys, and today I'm about to play some Sonic Mania.
Alright, let's zoom in.
And yes, cameraman is right here. Letecia Stauch Gaming. And yes, sign up for our channels. We're going to be doing a lot of these together. Give a shout out to him, his channel, Freedom.
Thank you. That was one of the many he hoped to make and the only one he was actually able to make. I do want to add something that I don't have in my speech that me and Landon already had a conversation about this, and I owe her an apology as well as she already gave me one, that we allowed Tisha to manipulate us into some of the pain and disagreements that we had between one another. And Landon, I'm sorry. But I will say this. Tisha was not the glue to keep everything together. She was not the answer. And this is not a jab, Landon, okay? But Lena still lives with me. Tisha, you were not the answer. Now, Your Honor, if I have any influence on the final sentence for Tisha, first I ask to be stripped of my last name immediately. It's nauseating and infuriating to hear her called Miss Stauch this past
Oh,
weekend.
he did ask.
Yeah,
Secondly,
he asked.
I asked that
Oh.
for every mile.
Yes, he has asked for it, but I don't think the courts can make that happen.
She drove Gannon across the country. She spent 1 day in solitary confinement. I think that took us in between 3 and 4 years. After that journey is complete, I recommend her sentence be equal to every year she stripped off of Gannon's life, which for the average male in America right now is 77. So that would give her 66 more years in addition to the 11 he lived. Lastly, for every year of Harley's life that she abusively manipulated that child, she should have an additional year of prison. That adds 21 years to the total. I think without parole, that should suffice. I pray also that Tisha lives the fullest and happiest life that any inmate possibly can live. I also pray that every night before she falls asleep, her last breath before she drifts off sounds just like the breath that she describes Gannon breathing as life left his body. And that all through her sleep, she dreams of all the fun they had at Disney and other places we went throughout our time together. And that every morning as she is about to wake, the end of her dream, the last words Gannon spoke or screamed or cried, "Tisha, stop! You're hurting me. Why, Tisha? Daddy, help me. I want my mommy. Why couldn't you let her just be a mama's boy? That's all he wanted to be. He just loved his mama. I wish she would tell me what those words were so I would know." And then as she speaks those words, the sound of a gunshot goes off and she wakes. Every day and night, I pray she relives just those moments and then wakes up to a nice, warm, and kosher breakfast. In conclusion, I would like
Just so everybody knows, when she first was arrested, there was, I don't even remember exactly what it was. She was kosher and had to have a kosher meal and couldn't get that in prison, which was the first. She had never been kosher before prison or jail, and she was complaining about her breakfast. So that's what that little jab was. That's too funny.
to share a picture of Gannon in his final state and find a resting place, and thank everyone that has had a positive impact on my family and I. To everyone that has shared the positive impact Gannon has had on your life, from a proud and broken father, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. I'd like to pause until we can get that last photo up.
Not getting a feed from your laptop.
Yes, Teresa, I'll play the judge. I love the judge. I could speed this up so it moves a little bit faster.
It's fine. Oh, there it is.
Oops. Wrong one.
Thank you, everyone.
Really?
I think that concludes the comments from family and friends, Judge. So I'm not sure if
Wait, did we miss where he says nappy headed? Were we talking and miss it?
No, it played it.
Okay. All right. Let's judge is going to take 10 minutes. So let's go. Okay.
I've also heard it said that one of the worst tragedies a parent can experience.
3 years building up.
Let me slow it down because he's talking fast.
I don't think they can make her change her name either, but wouldn't that be something? He says she. For all of us. Oh, here they are. They're back.
A parent's worst nightmare is getting a phone call letting them know that something has happened to their child. How much worse must that nightmare be when law enforcement asks not for a picture of your loved one, but rather DNA and dental records? I've also heard it said that one of the worst tragedies a parent can experience is to outlive a child. I have known people, both professionally and personally, who have gone through that. It never leaves them, but the sharpness of the pain does diminish to some extent over time. I cannot fathom the pain Mr. Stauch and Ms. Bullard have experienced as a result of the defendant's actions. A sentence in a criminal case such as this will not change the fact that their son's life was taken from them, and no sentence I impose and nothing I say will ever change that fact. Ms. Stauch, you betrayed the person you loved enough to marry. You told your husband lies and took away someone he loved. You took away every day that Mr. Stauch or Ms. Bullard could have had with their son. When you take a life, regardless of how you do that, you forever alter the future. Neither Mr. Stauch nor Ms. Bullard will ever see their son graduate from high school, go through the joy and the pain of that first love, or get married. They will never know what kind of impact their son may have had on the world if only he had lived to become an adult. And had Gannon's body not been found, they never would have known what happened to Gannon. They would always have had a lingering doubt about what happened to Gannon. And I cannot imagine the pain and sense of loss associated with that. You betrayed your daughter, Harley Hunt. I cannot imagine the emotional impact that you have had on her due to your selfish and calculated actions. This is a young woman that trusted you to put her interests above yours. This is a young woman who believed in you and believed you were innocent of this crime right up until the time that you pled not guilty by reason of insanity. And she still loves you. That's natural for a child, and it doesn't matter how much older they get. You were supposed to protect her. I cannot imagine the guilt she feels or the therapy that she will need to address your portrayal. There is no evidence that she had anything to do with the murder or your cover-up of it, but some people still think that she is somehow involved. She wasn't. The incredible strength of will and courage that it took for her to come in and testify is amazing to me. But she did it because, as she said, it was the right thing to do. And while thankfully she didn't testify, let's not forget about Lena. You betrayed her too. You took her brother from her and forever altered her family dynamics. She will always wonder who she can trust and will always feel that loss. She was there the day you killed Gannon. His body was still in the house when she got back from school. At some point, you even claimed this 8-year-old girl helped you move her brother's body from the basement to the back of your car. That's just simply not true. As she gets older, Lena is going to want to know more, and she's going to want to know if there was something that she could have done to prevent this. I hope she comes to realize that she has no fault in all of this. You betrayed your stepson, and you took his life. You took away everything he was and everything he could ever become. I can't imagine the terror and confusion that he must have felt in the last moments of his life when he knew his life was being taken by someone he trusted to protect it. Your attempt to raise the claim that you did this because of your adverse childhood is also a betrayal of people that have mental health issues. It is no secret that there is a large part of our population that has mental health issues. It's also no secret that our country and our health system could do a much better job addressing mental health issues than it does. However, the number of people with mental health issues who become violent is small, and the number who become murderers is smaller still. Your claim that a mental health issue caused the murder in this case is a disservice to all those who struggle with mental health issues every day. This isn't the first case I have presided over in which sanity or a mental condition of the defendant has been raised as a defense. I have had cases where the defendant's mental condition caused the defendant to act out in a certain fashion. But even in those cases, I have never seen conduct like this. I understand the claim of dissociative identity disorder. I have seen something resembling that, and I have seen defendants with schizophrenic disorders. I can understand those. What I have seen is that the mental condition causes the person to act a certain way, and when they realize what they did, they are astonished by what happened, or they have no memory of what happened. Your claim is that it was another personality that murdered Gannon, but there is no time during the minutes, hours, and days following the murder where Letecia came out and wondered, gee, why am I carrying a body around in my luggage? That just isn't credible. You knew what you were doing. You made a number of clear and conscious decisions to cover or disguise what you had done. Claiming a lack of motive is a common defense tactic, and it can be a sound strategy. The truth is, however, that it only takes a moment to make a bad decision that results in disastrous consequences. And oftentimes, we never know why a defendant chose a particular course of action. However, that does not mean that they did not intend to undertake a course of action. Sometimes, as in this case, the likely explanation is anger. An 11-year-old boy with burns who feels that he's not being taken care of. An 11-year-old boy on the verge of being a teenager. Those of us who have lived through people or kids with that were teenagers, we know how that is. It is not hard to imagine Gannon saying something, "You're not my mom. I want my mom. I want my dad." And that would be enough to make you really angry. But anger is not an excuse. A defendant is responsible for the choices they made and the actions they undertook, even though those choices arose out of or were motivated by anger. It's clear that you hated and were jealous of Landon Bullard. You saw yourself as a better mother than she was. It's clear from the evidence that you had some resentment from being left with Mr. Stauch's children. It's clear you had some resentment toward Mr. Stauch because he traveled as part of his job. Some of that manifested as early as Al's assignment in Alaska when you made allegations against the people in his unit. That caused Al to have to return from Alaska. And in one of the phone calls that were played for the jury, you talked about having to take care of his kids while he was away and what a good mother you were. It's clear you felt trapped. You wanted out. You were searching for a new job and a new location in Florida. Mr. Stauch had been gone on his new assignment for less than 2 days when the fire in the basement occurred. I can imagine that you saw your whole future consisting of taking care of Mr. Stauch's children while he was off doing his thing, and that's not the future that you wanted. I can imagine Gannon at some point after he sustained his burns telling you wanted his real mom and how that comment would have made you angry. You took your frustration and anger for the marriage, the child care, the absence of Al, and even living in Colorado. You took all of that out on Gannon. The evidence suggests you first stabbed Gannon repeatedly, 18 times. Based on the number of defensive wounds, he was clearly conscious for some of that. He was certainly gravely wounded. And chillingly, it would also explain how you were able to mimic the sound of Gannon breathing in one of your sessions with Dr. Lewis. Those were probably close to his last breaths. He was dying but not dead. The evidence could also lead one to conclude that he either fell or rolled off the bed where you shot him in the head and then beat him with the butt of a gun or a baseball bat. That would explain the blood found at different levels on the walls in Gannon's bedroom. I'm also reminded of the look you had on your face when you slipped your handcuffs while being transported back to Colorado and attacked Deputy James. I shudder to think that that was probably the last thing that Gannon saw before he died. You have shown no remorse throughout this process. Instead, you've made a choice to build a web of lies. When you gave an interview to Detective Jessica Bethel on January 29 of 2020, you told her, you lied to her about Gannon running away, and that he was actually taken by a guy named Eduardo. When you explained that to Detective Bethel, you said you needed to lie because you didn't want to face the consequences. You told her that you were trying to come up with a plan about what you should do. And finally, you told her you really thought you could fix this. I think that's true. You lied because you didn't want to face the consequences. You needed to come up with a plan to fix this, and that plan involved covering up what you had done. It involved lie upon lie. But you slipped up at various points and let kernels of truth escape. In one conversation with Mr. Stauch, you told him the FBI needed to close the borders of Colorado, needed to close I-95. I-95 doesn't go through Colorado. It's an interstate that runs along the entire eastern seaboard. It's also not far from where you dumped Gannon's body. When questioned by Detective Bethel, you told her that Mr. Stauch might also make up some kind of story about you coming at him with a knife. You said you would never use a knife like that. Yet Gannon was stabbed 18 times. Your actions in this case also show a very conscious attempt to avoid responsibility in this case. You started out with the story that Gannon had run away. You gave some hints that it might be related to bath salts or drug use by Gannon. You stayed with that story until you were called into EPSO for an interview. You knew they weren't going to buy the story that Gannon ran away. Then you came up with the abduction. And you stayed with some iteration of that for a long time. But all of those versions had one thing in common. You were always the victim. In one, you're beaten and raped and Gannon was abducted. In one, someone stole Gannon out of a truck in the parking lot. In another, you let someone drive Gannon to a hospital to take care of a head injury that he had after falling off a bike. In all of them, you could claim it wasn't your fault. You were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Then you got arrested. You stuck to the story that it was someone else that took Gannon. During the hours that you spoke with Special Agent Grusing, he told you he thought sometimes good people do bad things and sometimes it's an accident. Then they found Gannon's body. Then you saw the mountain of evidence against you. And this is a mountain the size of Everest. What was your position after that? Well, it was an accident. And you, Letecia, didn't even do it. It was Maria Sanchez. You carefully crafted your new story to continue to avoid responsibility. It also allowed you to take advantage of the out that Mr. Grusing and Mr. Stauch suggested much, much earlier when they asked you if this was an accident. Now it was an accident. Your Maria Sanchez personality shot Gannon by mistake because she thought he was an intruder in a cape. Multiple personalities is not credible in this setting, as regardless of how many personalities you have, you only have one body. I have presided over cases where a mental disease or defect prevented a defendant from remembering the course of events, including the commission of the crime. Without exception, those defendants have been terrified when contacted by law enforcement because there was a period of time in their lives that they could not account for. Their body may have sustained an injury, and they don't know how it happened. They may have some new object in their house or on their person, and they have no idea where they got it from. We all have free will, and we all make choices based on that free will. The people who suffer from the mental disorder you claim are terrified because their free will has been taken from them, and they are being subjected to things and experiences they don't understand and don't have any recollection of. You didn't behave anything like that. One of the purposes is to impose an appropriate sentence for the criminal conduct that occurred. Another purpose is to punish an offender by imposing a sentence that takes into account the seriousness of the offense. Yet another purpose of sentencing is to prevent crime and promote respect for the law by providing an effective deterrent to others likely to commit a similar offense. Anyone who's been in my courtroom before knows that I've said sentencings are the most difficult thing that I do. That's especially true in cases where someone has lost his or her life. Nothing I or the law can do will ever bring that person back. I have handled hundreds, if not thousands, of criminal cases over the years. I think at this point in my career, I've presided over something like 200 jury trials. I've sentenced hundreds more defendants pursuant to plea agreements. This is not the first murder case that has come before me. This is not the first case I have presided over which involves harm to a child. This is not the first case I have had where a person who was in an unhappy marriage committed a crime. Sadly, statistically, there is a high correlation between violent acts, including murders, and family members. I have had a number of cases which have demonstrated one person's capacity for cruelty toward another human being. I can, however, say without hesitation that the facts in this case are the most horrific I have ever seen. Your conduct in this case deserves the maximum punishment that I can impose under Colorado law. As such, with respect to the charge of first-degree murder after deliberation, I remand you to the custody of the Colorado Department of Corrections for the remainder of your life with no possibility of parole. With respect to the charge of murder in the first degree of a child under 12 by a person in a position of trust, I remand you to the custody of the Colorado Department of Corrections for the remainder of your life with no possibility of parole. Those two sentences will merge. If you have questions about that, you can ask your attorneys. With respect to the charge of tampering with a deceased human body, I'm also going to sentence you to 12 years, followed by a 3-year period of parole. That sentence is to be consecutive to the life sentences that I've already imposed. With respect to tampering with physical evidence, I'm going to impose an 18-month sentence. That sentence is also consecutive to the sentences for the murder charges that I have imposed. I also understand, with the consent of the prosecution, and I'm assuming no objection from the defense, that I will dismiss all the charges in 20 CR 3170, close that out subject to restitution, give the people 49 days for restitution, 14 days for response, and if there's an issue, we will set it within the 90 days, from. I think that resolves all outstanding matters. Is there anything else that the prosecution wishes for me to address?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Defense? Court will be in recess.
So there we have it.
I've got goosebumps. Now, I got a question, Brandy, because I didn't get to listen to this part. But when Al was talking and he said something about, I hope your last thing before you go to bed is the sight of Gannon breathing the way you described. What was he talking about there?
In one of the interviews with Dr. Lewis, Maria describes Gannon's last breath.
Maria, that one of her other.
Well, Letecia did, but she did it in Maria.
Yeah.
She was pretending to be
my
Maria.
God.
And I didn't make it out. Something must have been going on because I really don't even remember that part. So I'm going to go back and listen to those and try to do it with like headphones or something.
Do you remember which one that interview was played on? Because I didn't watch it, the interview with Dr. Lewis.
Those will be the last day of trial, the last day or two of trial.
Okay, I just listened to her on the stand.
Because the defense only had 2 witnesses, the doctor that was seeing Letecia that was in the military doctors before the incident, and then Dr. Lewis. That was it. So, and it would have been when the defense was cross-examining because, not defense cross-examining, prosecution was cross-examining because the defense didn't play any of the videos. They didn't want the videos played.
Well, hell.
Because they were damning. Those videos were very damning. Making lunch for tomorrow, Gladys?
You're such a good grandma, Gladys.
Teresa, the charges that were pending were there's the charge of her attacking the agents on the way in when they were bringing her back
Jeez.
from Carolina, and also something about the escape plot. She
Yeah.
was planning to escape from prison with some other people.
Yeah.
So I think it's those two charges that they're talking about. And that's really smart by the state. There's no sense in wasting any more state funds on those because she's not getting out.
Yeah.
I don't even see anything for appeal process that would come up. I mean, she's going to file appeals. They all do.
Yeah.
So but I didn't. I mean, she may try to do ineffective counsel, and that's going to blow up in her face. It usually does. I'm looking at one right now that truly is ineffective counsel. But once you admit to your attorneys that you did it,
Yeah.
It takes that away
Yeah.
because their options for defending you was pretty null.
Well, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was in the very beginning after she was first charged. Didn't she have other lawyers that she like fired or something?
Yes,
I remember her.
She fired her original attorneys and was going to represent herself, and then she was throwing a fit about getting the paperwork, and the prison didn't. They were trying to figure out how to do it because the paperwork had people's addresses on it, and they didn't want that inside the prison because it's a whole nother issue. And
well, I remember her freaking arguing. Oh my gosh. That
right.
was
And Gladys said she was safe. Yes. And they did an evaluation on her. I think they did several evaluations on her because she was acting crazy. She was acting downright nuts.
Yeah.
And not showing up to court and throwing a fit on the way to court and refusing to go in and refusing to talk and refusing to go to she could only have so amount of time in the library to do her stuff for her case, and she didn't want to go one time at the time they wanted her to go, so they wouldn't let her go later on, and she threw a fit.
Well, didn't she go to school for like criminal justice too at some point?
No, she was just a teacher.
Well, I just remember Al saying something about you knew the laws, you went to school for it. So what did he mean by that? That she knew the laws.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well,
Gladys, I think there was an alleged that he was having an affair at the time this all happened. But it's alleged. I don't know anything more about that. The woman that he married, he met at church through the grief group. Her son died the same year as Gannon, and he was just 13, and he took his own life. And and that's who he's married to now. And she seems like an amazing woman.
Yes.
Is a very, I don't know. I just see a sweet soul with her when I see her. But I don't think it's the same woman. It's somebody totally different.
Yeah. Yeah. They both can maybe help each other. And then they have the little girl. He had another baby with her.
Did him and her have a child?
Yeah,
I don't know that they've had a child.
Yep. They have a little girl. Yep. She's like a year old, maybe a year and a half.
Okay. I didn't know that because I knew Landon had one.
Yep. She's got they were coming out of the courthouse, and she was carrying, the wife was carrying the little, and then they said, that's his new baby, their daughter, him and his new wife's daughter.
Gladys, Landon was struggling with drug addiction early on, and that's why he had the kids.
Yeah. And she's got Lannon, she still lives with him.
Yeah, him and Landon did have a pretty bitter custody battle after Gannon died with her trying to get Lena, and he was able to retain custody. And that's why he apologized to Landon because of how things were. And when he was, he still got his family. He tells Landon it's not a dig at you.
Yeah.
Because I think that's probably a lot. And for me, if you had custody of our children and one dies, to the woman because of the woman you're married to, I'm going to fight tooth and nail to get my kids back. So I can understand
Absolutely.
that.
Yep, Teresa, they had a new baby. Yep, she's a baby girl, cutie.
Well, and it's just sad, just so many lives are messed up, and Lena and Harley, out of all of them, have a lot of therapy they're going to have to go to, and the
Well,
PTSD with
Harley
that.
said
Good grief.
Harley in one of her TikToks, she said that, she lost her sister, her brother, her mom, and her dad, even though he was a stepdad, but she loved him.
Well, he's
And-
been in her life since she was young,
Yes,
and
yes.
she didn't find out till recently how her birth dad
I
died.
know she lied. She lied to her daughter about how her dad died.
Literally, the woman has lied about everything.
I mean,
She's lied about how many
yeah.
times she's been pregnant. She's lied about being raped. She's lied about
Her stepdad
breaking
dying in a car accident.
right, people breaking into the home. I mean, literally, if she stumps her toe, she's gonna lie and tell you that Joe Blow down the road threw a brick at her and hit her in the foot. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
just the craziest shit.
Yeah.
To watch this case, another child, just so hard to see this and see a woman so callous as she was. It was very hard. It was very hard, Gladys. And this, at this time, my screen just did it again and went all black, scared me. This in 2020, we had the Vallow Daybell case. We had this case. Evelyn Boswell come up missing, and I need to look that up and see what they've come. I think she pled. We had a lot of
There's been a lot of,
and it was freaky.
it seems like
It was freaky.
2018, to me, it just seems like starting 2018, it just seems like, because isn't that when the girls on the bridge, the one that Lindsay covered so much?
Oh, yes. Yeah, was that 2018 or
Yep,
2017, something
that was
like that?
2018.
The Delphi case.
Then the Watts, I mean, it just
Well,
seems.
Watts was before them.
Okay, so Watts was 2016 then, or 18. I thought
That was
they were
18.
close. Yeah, so
Maybe they were before Watts. I was thinking, I don't know. 2020 for me just seemed like a year. Of course, a lot of this happened before the shutdown happened with the pandemic, but it just seemed like in the true crime Facebook groups, and because a lot of us were over there before at this time, and podcasting and all that, that's all we had were kid cases. And my original podcast partner, she finally was like, Brandy, I can't do this. I can't talk about any more kids. So she just had to walk away. She walked away from true crime completely and went into the reality TV world. And ever so often she'll catch up with me and she's like, okay, what's going on with these cases? And like when I shared the stuff with Gannon, she was like, okay, good. She's like, I can't watch. Just glad you're telling me what's going on. Because she just can't do it.
Yeah.
And it was a lot. It was so much. And even with like this case and Vallow happened at the same time, I was like, man, I wish they would have spread them out a little bit because it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And I don't know that I could have watched the Vallow case because I don't know, something about JJ's story just broke my heart.
Yeah.
And that one would have been harder for me. Even though Gannon's was one that I cried like a baby the day they found him. And but I don't know, something about JJ's case just got me.
Yeah. And Tylee too. I mean, it's just, you have a daughter the same. Well, I had a daughter the same age, and it was like, what is Teresa saying? They have this big thing.
Yeah, there's a big case going on in Oklahoma. Teresa, is that the one with the 7 bodies they found, or is that the one with the guy that
my brother lives in Oklahoma.
Killed the slumber party girl? The slumber party killed his wife and kids in the slumber party, and then himself. Is it that one, or is it the one where they found the bodies? There's 2 of them going on right now like that.
Wow.
And I don't know which one is which. there's a lot of conspiracy going on with them, so I'm kind of going,
Wonder which town this is in.
I'm not sure. I don't remember.
Ugh.
One is what, Henrietta, Oklahoma, I believe, or something like that.
I wonder how far that is from Sand Springs.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. Whew.
But I don't know. We've got justice for this one. Hopefully, within the next few days, we'll have the justice on the Vallow case.
Oh, I hope they throw the freaking key away with.
Yeah, the 7
Well,
bodies.
when
They
will
found in Oklahoma, they found 7. They were looking for somebody. They were doing a search for one person, and they come across 7 bodies.
Jeez.
And so none of the stories are matching up from parents. Everybody's story is different on what happened. And I'm thinking somebody said today, sex trafficking kind of thing. I'm thinking serial killer. That kind of bodies dumped in one location. I'm thinking serial killer.
Wow.
So I'm curious to see what comes with that. And then there's a case, and I'll pull the information up. I don't talk about it, but this there's a slumber party, and the guy kills his wife, the girls, and himself, and then the law enforcement just goes in and they leave evidence. They don't even take anything out because it's pretty much a slam dunk on what happened. And the parents go in the home and they're videoing, they're going in and looking, and they're not touching anything yet, even though it's been cleared. And they're literally finding their daughter's cell phone up in a cabinet. And like there were mattresses on the bed with like chains and eye hooks in the floor where they would chain people to the floor, sex toys everywhere. It was a dungeon. It was gross. It was so gross. And so that one, I probably ought to pull this stuff up and talk about that one because that one's pretty intense.
Shoot, I've been on mute and I was talking. I got to do that at least one time during a video. Jeez. Yeah. Scary world we're living in.
Very. Very. And then I found the other day, and I've always wanted to talk about it, but I never knew what happened because, of course, when this happened, we didn't have the social media aspect like we do now. But there was a body found in in the little town that we lived in. It's my husband's hometown. It was a nude body, and it was strange. Nobody knew where she was, how she got where she was at. And then I found it on Dateline where they talked about it and what happened. And I was like, oh my God. So I've been looking that stuff up. I need to do that one.
Teresa's saying it's the same case.
Okay, so it's the same case. I was thinking the bodies were found outside in the woods. Okay. See, I haven't paid that much attention to it, just a little bit. I didn't realize it was the same case.
Huh.
Yeah, somebody's got to do something because, I mean, the video of the parents going in there and there's like phones sitting up in the cabinets, and it was crazy. Absolutely crazy. See, I'm thinking they were 2 separate cases and they're the same case. That shows you how much, that's how wrapped up in Gannon I have been, guys. It's had my attention. Oh, and those of y'all that don't have me on Facebook, I have more ducks. So, yeah.
You need to post. You can't
Dave
post
said,
videos on community posts, can you?
you have to do them as shorts.
Yeah, you need to post
Hi,
them.
PB&J.
Hey, PB&J.
I love the PB&J for breakfast. I'm just saying.
Yeah, my daughter's been eating a lot of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
I have been craving peanut butter lately, so I'm like, I'm just gonna eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for breakfast. But no, my husband said, I said, so I got more ducks. and I told him what happened, and he's like, babe, am I gonna have to quit going out of town? I'm like, babe, I do this when you're home. I don't know why you're gonna. He's like, I know. I don't know what I'm thinking. But yeah, I had to go rescue those little babies, and they have been terrified. They weren't even eating. They're now eating, and they ate peas out of my hands today, so I'm happy. I got them to eat peas out of my hands. I'm tickled. So, whew.
They sure are cute.
And the chickens, I had chickens hatch, and oh my god, cutest damn chickens ever. Oh my god. They're saying now they found 32 phones, and the address is connected to all 30 is connected to those phones, and it's other 6 offenders that using that address. Oh shit.
Damn. Whew.
That is just crazy.
Yeah, it is.
But that's okay. So the problem with getting involved in a case like that means that all of the other, and I think that's what Sleuth Mom was talking about today when I got in there. I was just kind of running behind, so I didn't catch all of it. Is you end up having nothing but conspiracy and conjecture, and it takes away from the case, and people, it's just a little insane and much. Hey, Hemi.
There's my buddy. Hey, Hemi. Hockey.
He's from Canada. They do hockey. Isn't
Yeah,
he
I
from
know.
Canada? Hemi, aren't you from Canada?
Yes, he is.
I want to say he's from Canada. Yeah, they do hockey where we do
Canadian.
like football. We don't do hockey. We did hockey when I was in Washington State,
You know
but I guess
what?
that's 'cause
There's
it's so
a
close to.
lot of people around here that we have a huge hockey arena in Des Moines. So many people around here. They actually play on a team up there.
Now, if
They
these
love it.
rednecks out here could figure out how to do hockey on the lake, they'd be doing hockey, but they can't figure out how to do that. We don't have snow.
Oh.
We don't, we don't have the cold. So yeah.
Well,
Now, when we were in Washington State, like when we first moved up there, my oldest was freshman in high school. So, we always did football games. Here we do football games. You go to the football games on Friday night. So we're like trying to figure out where there are high school football games, and people were looking at us like we were crazy. And I'm just like, is that not a thing? I mean, it was kind of a thing, but nobody talked about it, but it was hockey. Everybody did hockey. You went to the hockey games. I'm like, I don't know anything about hockey. And it's cold. I don't want to go in there where it's cold. I want to go to football. So yeah, it was so confusing that hockey was a big thing in Washington State and not high school football. Yeah, we do, here in Texas, high school football is like a religion. And I miss those days. I miss those days of my kid playing. So hopefully my grandson will play. I mean, he is playing soccer, and I'm having to learn to like soccer. I don't understand
damn it,
soccer.
Brandy, I did it again.
It's not showing me mute.
No, I literally, I thought, well, what the hell? And I looked and I muted myself.
Well, it didn't show me muted. Well, you know what? I was looking at the wrong thing. Never mind. It might have been showing muted.
No, I was saying because football and stuff is huge in Texas because wasn't it that that town or city wherever where the football team was like
Yes.
the best, but the cheerleaders, the mother.
That's over in West Texas.
Yeah,
that was where that's a true movie, true story.
Yeah, I know.
But I mean, football here is brutal, and it is whether you're on the cheerleading squad or you're on the football team or you're on the band. I mean, it is brutal. And it is Friday nights when that's where you're at. I mean, we've even gone with our kids out of school. We have this one with the two schools that are rivalries. It's the two little towns that are really close together. So pretty much you go to church with everybody. You know what I mean? We all know each other. Our kids are going to different schools, but they all know each other. And so it's a rival game, and we call it the Rice Bowl because it's rice country, rice farming in that area. And we've nicknamed it the Rice Bowl. And those two teams play, and it's bragging rights for the full year. We beat you kind of thing. And that's sort of like a family reunion. Like literally you go, it's like, hey, I haven't seen you in a while.
Speaking of sports, my grandson, he's 12, he pitched his first game last night, and he struck out every one of those kids but one.
Oh, good job.
And I'm telling you guys, well, his dad had a full scholarship to Colorado for baseball. And
Chris,
senior year, Derek, the coach, and him kind of got into an argument, and the coach called him a dumbass. Derek took the ball, set it down, and walked off the field, and he hasn't played since.
Oh wow.
So
My
Tucker's gonna do
Chris
really good.
Chris was in line for a scholarship and to go pro.
Yeah.
And he tore his labrum in his shoulder, and we went and had it repaired. He did therapy by the book, and they were like, look, we've never seen one heal like this. This is amazing. He is going to be back to playing in no time. And he did everything by the book. I mean, strictly.
Oh my God.
And he
Sorry.
he was in football. He was playing in a game and got hit in the shoulder, and he felt it pop, and he couldn't throw.
Wow. Teresa's husband freaking played against Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman, I used to love Troy Aikman. Wow.
That's funny.
Gosh. That is amazing.
That is funny.
Wow.
Yeah, Teresa, there with the Oklahoma case, that's when I was catching in the last couple of days is like you've got different parents arguing about what happened, and then they all have different stories with each other and different stories from law enforcement, and nothing is matching. So
That's nuts.
it's going to be a little insane.
Yeah, I'll have to look more into it. But anyways, I've got to get off of here. My daughter needs to talk to me, and I got to take my little puppy out, I'm sure.
Yeah, mine are probably ready to go out again, and I got to go let the ducks out of their pen so they can swim around in the yard some more.
Yeah.
Just little pigs with feathers that get puppy dog zoomies. I swear they're hilarious.
I want you to video that, and you freaking send it to me.
I need to video them doing the zoomies in the mud water.
Gosh, that is.
But I'm definitely gonna call bitch because she was having issues. I'm gonna check on her.
Please do. And thank you for having me, and thank you, everybody. Teresa.
I think I'm gonna start doing I think I'll do Wednesdays and do, like I said, kind of spin off from what I'm recording for the show. And
yeah, you need to.
I know everybody likes the new cases, but like we were talking with this guy, I don't like the drama and the conspiracy. I like to have facts.
Yeah, I can't get into. I'm going to be doing Harry again, probably after my dad's service and after Caitlin's graduation. But I'm thinking next week I'm going to be doing a segment on the Todd Mullis case again, because there's a lot of new shit happening there.
Okay.
So, anyways, you have a good night, okay?
You too, and I will talk to you later. And you guys all have a great night and stay safe and all of that good stuff. What is it? It is Wednesday, so we've got Mother's Day this weekend. Treat your mamas nice. Take them out to do something special. And we'll talk to everybody later on. I'll see y'all around the tubes.